Good evening. This is the night of the elections in Virginia, and so it's Tuesday evening, and I'm outside where we had the reception to watch the returns, and the returns were pretty dramatic, and I'm only going to give a short report because it's later in the evening. But Russet Perry was being challenged by a far right-wing candidate from the Republican Party, and she stood for support of women's issues, but a whole host of issues that were very dramatic. There was millions of dollars spent on the election, and it was spent to good advantage, certainly by Russet Perry. She's a former Commonwealth attorney, and she's originally from the CIA, not the usual profile you expect from a Democrat. But she campaigned tirelessly, and I have to say so did the Republican. But I think the issues that won out was what Democrats and independents demand now, which is that they don't want to put up with someone who will lie, as they did about Russet's background and her positions, and they don't want someone who, and this is interesting, who's on the wrong side of the choice issue. And she certainly wasn't. She was very strong, and he was very strong against any abortions under any circumstances. Basically doesn't believe that a woman has a right to determine what to do with her own body. And this did not serve him well. Now, across the county, the Democrats did well. But the most significant campaign was Russet Perry's, because Russet's win sends a message that was echoed in Ohio, where the vote for the constitutional amendment that would protect a woman's right to an abortion prevailed. Now, in my race, I ran for the Soil and Water Board, and I got 62,000 votes, and all the votes aren't counted yet, but I was the first of those people who were running for that position. There were 3 positions, and there were 3 endorsements by the Democratic Committee. And those endorsements went on sample ballots. Now, the significance of that is that 2 of the 3, myself and another person, were pretty well known. But a third person was not well known, and she came in 3rd place over a prior member of the board who was defeated in this election. What that says to me is that the sample ballot had enormous power across the county to elect Democrats. Now, I'm identifiable, so I'm not a good example. But the other 2 people who were supported on the slate are not as well known, and the sample ballot is what helped them win. Now, the significance of this is not as much about the race I was in as the fact that this sample ballot was spread at every district in the county, and people voted to a large extent based on the sample ballot, because the real ballot doesn't designate who's a Democrat and who's a Republican. So how would I consider the evening's results? I think we had a big upset. Perry was in a very tough race, and at one point a member of her campaign said to me that I asked what was the margin of victory that was possible, and he thought 200 votes, and she's winning by thousands, several thousand votes, so there won't be a recount. And there are people winning across the county, and I think we've picked up a seat. I don't yet know if we've made a difference in the General Assembly, which is our state legislature down in Richmond. Combined with Ohio and the constitutional vote there, which was very strong, sends a signal that Alito, the Republican Party, is paying for your discrimination against women, for you upturning a long-established, 50-year long-established policy involving a woman's right of choice. And there are other developments I'm sure that we're going to see. I, of course, at the reception had pictures with some of the members of the party, and I'll attach them. And this will be relatively short because I'm walking on the front of the this historic building where we had our reception to watch the results, and we waited here for workers and candidates to come And I don't think anyone who arrived, despite the good efforts to win this election, knew what the outcome would be. So what's my message to others in other states at this time? As Loudoun County, where I am, has been a bellwether in previous campaigns indicating what might happen across the board, this is big news. This is a big deal. And what happened in Ohio is a big deal. And I think we'll find in the morning, sifting through the memories of this day and the outcome of the ballots, I think that we'll realize that there's a trend line here that is taking America back to the republic it was, that is going to restore our democracy. So I thank you for paying attention. I'm sorry that this is somewhat abbreviated, but I wouldn't have had much to tell you until 8, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So all the best. I'll talk to you tomorrow, probably from the woods. All the best. Bye-bye.